How do you pastor someone you may never meet face to face? Well, stick around in this video because we're going to answer that with 3 tips I have for pastoring well online. I'm Stephen Roberts, one of the host team pastors at Life.Church, and a lot of people ask me, how do you pastor well online? Well, my first encouragement to anyone who asks me is, if you're a pastor, if you're a church leader, you already have what it takes. You are equipped. All that experience, all that heart you have for people, the knowledge that you have, that applies online as well. So don't throw it away just because it's online. You need that to be successful. You can do it. You can pastor online. People are people. Just online, we connect with them differently. So I'm going to share with you 3 tips on how I connect with people online, and I think this will help you out too. First, I connect with people and provide clear next steps. So clear next steps is the first thing. If you're in an auditorium or at a church building, you probably have signs for visitors parking or a welcome center for new guests or a wall for your small groups. On stage, you're directing people to fill out a welcome card or find you in the lobby. That clear communication, that principle still applies online. To your audience who may be watching on YouTube, Facebook, other platforms, you need to provide clear next steps for how they can grow in their faith. Maybe it's clicking a link that's on the screen or sending you a direct message or texting the number that they see. Whatever that next step is, be clear about it wherever you communicate it. Keep your in-person audience in mind and your online audience in mind. And keep in mind that it's not just the physical doors of your building where people are coming. They're coming digitally. They're finding you on Facebook. They're finding you on Instagram or in your email newsletter. How are you communicating and leading them to next steps? Be sure it's clear. And if someone were to come to your page or channel, they instantly know how to get connected and where to go from there. All right, my second tip for pastoring people well online is to make it personal. It's easy for people online to feel unnoticed, to feel like one in a sea of thousands of other people. So whatever we can do as pastors to reach out and show them, hey, we are glad you're here and we care about you, man, that really speaks to people who are looking for hope and for help. So here's some things I do. In a service, we use the Church Online platform, and we have these moments throughout the service where I want people to engage, and I ask them, if you want prayer, if you want someone to personally pray with you, we have a moment right in that service that invites them to do that. If they're giving their life to Christ, man, we want to celebrate with them. We want to help them with their next steps in their journey to becoming a fully devoted follower of Christ. And so we have a moment that comes up then and asks for their contact information, and our team personally reaches out, they text them and help them with those next steps. Outside of a service, we might have Zoom calls to invite them to get to know our staff and connect with us on that level. We might send a card actually in the mail. I actually just wrote a card for someone and just to thank them and to show that we care for them. Because if you're just attending online, but then receive something in the mail, it just helps bridge that connection with the people who are attending your church. Another thing you need to keep in mind is to be available. And I know you as pastors and church leaders, you know this. You're going to coffee in the mornings. You're going to dinners at nights. You're used to long days of ministry. Well, now that you're online, well, you got to think of the same kind of mindset. How can you connect and push yourself to still be available like you've always been, just in a more digital context? One way I've done this recently is with my team of volunteers. I have a couple hundred volunteers that I have the privilege of leading, and I wanted to connect with them personally. And I used to think, well, there's too many. I can't connect with everybody. But I challenged my mindset on that and said, you know what? I can try to connect with as many as I can. And so I used a helpful tool called Calendly, and it syncs with Zoom meetings on my calendar. And I just sent out a link to everybody, said, hey, if you want to meet, let me know and we'll pick a time. And what they were able to do is pick a time that worked for them. And just for 15-minute slots, I would get to know over 100 of my team members and pray with them and connect with them on a personal level. And it speaks so much when someone is personally available. And even those who didn't take me up on that offer, they see that we care, we want to reach out. And I think whatever you can do to be available, to show your community that you care about them is going to go a long way for your ministry. My third tip for helping you pastor well online is to use what you already have. You don't need to create some brand new program or invent some new technology to disciple people. You've already been doing that. You've been leading people to Christ. You've been discipling them to become better followers of Jesus. Now we're just putting it online. So if you've been using Growth Track, for example, figure out how you can do that online. If you've been doing small groups, well, you can do that online too. If you've been having serving opportunities, you can have online or remote serving opportunities. Think about what systems and programs and things you already are doing that you found to be effective to leading people towards your mission, and think of a digital way of doing that. I love that you're asking this question, how can I pastor well online? Because you're trying to leverage technology. You're trying to use everything that God's given you to reach people that God's put in your path, whether physically or digitally. So keep doing that. God can use you to make an incredible difference in your community and around the world. Although I love to hang out with people face to face and put my arm around them, people online, they still want that too. They want someone who cares for them. And I've seen lives changed forever across the world through online ministry. And I believe that God can do the same thing with you and through you wherever you are now. Hey, we just talked about next steps in pastoring well online. Well, I'm going to pastor you right now. Here's your next step. Subscribe. That's right. Just click subscribe and you're well on your way.